need your help. This man is dangerous.
What are you doing?
Step out of the vehicle with your hands where I can see them.
Oh, no.
I need you to drive.
We are talking the movie simply called Driven. Now, this one is directed by Glen Payne, and this is best described as Supernatural meets Collateral, the Tom Cruise movie. Now, this one actually stars a Supernatural cast member in the form of Richard Speight Jr. I believe he was Gabriel, the Able Gabriel, in the Supernatural TV show. And the crux of this movie, its unique selling point, so to speak, is that the entire movie is filmed in, on, or around this particular car. So it focuses on this Uber-style driver, this woman. And she ends up picking up this guy who claims to be a demon hunter. And she asks him, much like the movie Collateral, to go to different places where he is taking care of business. Initially, she doesn't know what's going on, but she soon gets wind of it and ends up being caught up in his quest to rid this particular town of this demon infestation. And as I say, the entire movie has this car as the kind of the anchor point, that the movie never really goes away from the car. So we see some of the cars go into buildings and stuff, but the camera is always fixed on the car, and then you'll see them just come back from the building and stuff like that. It's an odd, I guess, idea. It's somewhat unique, to be fair, and it does give this movie a particular kind of style, but I didn't think it was necessary in any way. I suspect the movie may well have budgetary constraints, and this is the reason for it. So first of all, let's talk about what works within this movie. So this movie is primarily a character-driven movie, and I've got to say, Richard Speight Jr. as Roger, who is our demon hunter, I actually quite liked the actor, because I actually was quite a fan of him when he was in Supernatural. I actually quite liked his portrayal of this angel, and he wasn't like a regular character. He was, in a handful of episodes here and there. But I actually quite like the actor, and I've seen him in a few things, and he's quite kind of affable here, and you kind of like, he's a bit of a kind of a novice demon hunter, so to speak. Doesn't seem to quite have his stuff together, shall we say. So I quite liked his interplay with this Uber driver, and she's this character who wants to become a stand-up comedian. So the idea here is kind of a horror/comedy, because there's meant to be kind of, obviously some kind of funny lines here and there, and there are some kind of amusing kind of one-liners here and there with the movie. And it has a somewhat of a unique format to it, and obviously this is a very low budget film. It really doesn't have any special effects outside of some light. That's literally the special effects that we've got here. So it's trying to do something a little different, really having this camera point being, like, as I say, in or around the car. It's not in one spot. You do see, on top of the car, internal shots, things like that, but it's always never far from the car itself, and almost like the camera is on the car, sort of thing. There are some kind of charming moments, and you do feel like you do get a good sense of the characters, and there is a reason for that. And the reason is that this is a movie where pretty much 95% of the time it's two people in a car talking. That's it. So, as I've mentioned, this is a very low budget film, and although we do have a smattering of other sort of customers that come in the car at the beginning, it's more or less a two-person show in this one environment, this bit that's being a car. And it's this, the interplay between the two of them, and the story essentially told via explanation by the characters. It's an exposition dump, the movie, I guess you want to say. Because we are told pretty much everything about these demons. We never really see anything. And then to kind of like, to really have to critique this movie more, when we do see our quote-unquote demons, it's just people that are possessed. They don't look any different. One of the kind of the things that bothered me about this movie, outside of maybe the concept, is just this would have been better as a short, I think, is that the woman seems to just accept that there are demons, and then well, you go, oh my God, what is that? It's just a person. You know, it's just a regular looking person attacking another person. I don't know why necessarily you would just like believe that, oh yeah, that's a demon, because there's no, you know, it just looks like a regular person. They're not like weird looking or anything. So I think she kind of to have bought into this kind of story about demons, it was a little bit too quickly, and she was kind of a little bit too willing to kind of go along with it. In all these movies, you're going to have this element where, oh, hang on, this sounds like it's a little bit ridiculous, but then the characters kind of like realise there is really the threat here. But that was such a short period of time. There was she sees no real evidence. It was just a bit silly. And although I quite liked the actor who plays like this female sort of cab driver, I didn't think she was the best actress, to be honest. And then she does have some interactions with a couple of other characters, including an ex-partner. And again, I didn't think the acting was all that fantastic, to be fair. I quite liked her character, but I just felt the acting was a little sort of inexperienced, is the best way I would kind of describe it. And yeah, as I say, there's no real sort of set pieces here. The biggest thing that's happened, you have like a group of about 5 people kind of like banging on the car roof. That's your climax of the movie. No special effects, no demonic makeup, no visual effects, nothing. Just a bunch of people kind of going, ah, we're demons, ah, you know. Now, you can do a movie with essentially 2 people in a room talking. That is possible to have that. But you have to be such a great filmmaker to be able to pull that off in regards to writing, acting, directing, and that's, you know, that's like Phone Booth, I guess, is is like a good one, where it's the one where who was it, Colin Farrell, just in a phone booth. You know, that was a well-made film where like 90% of the action was just in the phone booth. But this is a low-budget movie with sometimes hammy acting, and the writing I didn't think was too hot either. So it isn't really a particularly interesting film. I quite like the characters, and it has a unique selling point in the fact that it is all filmed, as I say, in, on, or around this one vehicle. Not that the vehicle really has much to do with it. It doesn't really become this key fact outside of this. It's just the mode of transport to go from one, you know, location to the other. It doesn't really factor that much into the plot itself, other than just transport. But I didn't see the need for that, really. Other than just to say, oh, we did this cool new thing, and it's like, look at us, woo-hoo. So the movie, I think, as I've mentioned, would have worked much better had it been a short, maybe in an anthology. For a full-length movie, there's just not enough material here. And you find that we have these, there's arguments and discussions with these 2 people, and you feel like you are really treading water. And the conversations, as I say, the way they're sometimes written just doesn't seem like believable dialogue and things like this. And this movie is so much about telling you about this demon menace when you don't see anything, whilst film being a visual medium, it's about showing, not telling, not the other way around. That's why you read a book. So I really can't recommend this movie, to be brutally honest. I don't think it's a horrible film. It's watchable to a degree, but you have to realise what you're getting into. And even then, this could have been, even if they did the same format, I still feel there's things that they could have done to make this better. Some of the kind of the writing, as I say, the dialogue was hokey, and some of the situational writing didn't really make sense, things like this. And as I say, some of the acting was a little bad. I'm going to have to give it a 4 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment, and I shall look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.